Honorable Robertson.
Thank you, Honourable Deputy Speaker. What is this obsession with private land? What is this obsession with private land? The ANC inherited land that the apartheid government stole, and they still have not given it open to the very people that deserve the land. Why don't you show us the route? Show us the route. Expropriate your own land and give it to the people. Expropriate the state's land and give it to the people. Ngeke suka ni. Abantu bayahlupheka. Abantu bayahlupheka. Nkosi yami. The ANC government do not have a land problem. We have a problem with the way the ANC are handling land. People were dispossessed of their land and their dignity by the discriminatory laws of the past. A painful past that can never be forgotten. But the ANC's call for expropriation is just a lazy attempt to divert attention away from the real reasons that lie at the heart of the slow pace of meaningful land reform and restitution. In March 2017, the EFF brought a similar motion to the House, and the ANC shot it down in flames. The ANC speakers unanimously condemned the suggestion to expropriate without compensation. They used language such as, "We totally reject amending Section 25 of the Constitution," saying that the ANC don't need the EFF's 6%. They will do exactly what they want to. The ANC rejects the EFF's calls for land invasion. They themselves have said that all the right mechanisms are in place to ensure that land reform happens. So what has changed? South Africa's constitution recognizes the painful historic injustices. The Bill of Rights seeks to ensure that the rights of all citizens are protected. Section 25 protects the rights of property ownership, but recognizes the use of different mechanisms, including expropriation, to ensure that the transfer of land occurs, but this is done in a just and equitable way. As the high-level panel report indicates, government has to focus on releasing state and SOE-owned land and to leverage as much of its tangible assets to accommodate the ever-increasing demand for land, financial and economic inclusion. According to the latest land audit, the state still owns approximately 17 million hectares, Honourable Minister. 17 million hectares. This is why I ask about the obsession with private land. Releasing most of its poor assets, I beg your pardon. According to the latest land audit, the state still owns 17 million hectares of property. Thus, by releasing most of those assets through a fair and efficient process, could propel the transfer of land to black ownership from 8.1 million hectares to more than double that figure in a fraction of the time that it would take to expropriate. And this would be done without harming the economy. So why expropriate without compensation and not just release state-owned property? And while doing so, continue to uphold Section 25 of the Constitution. It is surely the logical place to start. We do not have to change the Constitution. We need to implement it, and we need to find efficient solutions. In his budget speech, Minister Gagaba mentioned, ex-Minister Gagaba mentioned that 2,851 land claims will be settled in the MTEF, which will cost the taxpayer 8 billion rand and only equates to 291,000 hectares of property. But currently, a written question to the Department of Public Works reveals that the department sits on 1.9 million hectares of surplus land lying idle, which consists of 12,000 properties throughout the country. The problem is that the inefficient state does not do enough about transferring state-owned land back to the people. The Adriansa family were awarded a land claim for 96 hectares owned by the state or owned by the Department of Public Works next to the Cape Town International Airport. In 2016, the state, through the National Department of Public Works, indicated that they lacked the resources to finalize this claim. I remind you, 1.9 million hectares of land lying idly and owned by Public Works, yet they can't assist our people. Over 4,000 farm ownerships are yet to receive the titles transferred to beneficiaries. There is a clear reluctance by the state to hand over land. The devastating failure rate of 90% of our land reform projects throughout South Africa is another reason why the constitutional changes cannot serve South Africa's best interests. In comparison, the DA-run Western Cape far exceeds the rest of the country in terms of land reform successes, and we show a remarkable success rate of 62%. Isn't that wonderful?
Honourable Member.
Thank
your
you very
time
much.
is expired.
We reject this motion of expropriation without compensation. Thank you.
Honourable P.J. Mbuni.